What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, bringing home the bacon MLB DFS video for Sunday, September 15th. We are back. We have a full, chock-full website of NFL content. If you have not already checked out, we've already broken down the Sunday Night Football matchup, the showdown for DraftKings. We've already broken down the Monday Night Football showdown, and we've built lineups for both of those. So if you have not already checked those out, definitely make sure to check those out. On top of that, we have NASCAR today as well. So it's a huge Sunday for us. Hopefully you guys stick around. What we're going to do, if you're new to the channel, we're going to go through the main slate here, and we are going to give you our top 5 players at each position. If you want to see even more, you want to see a cheat sheet, optimal lineups, all these other stats under the MLB tab that you can see right here, check out FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. FTA Plus, $10 for a week, $30 for a month. It's $200 for a year, but we do have 7 spots available left. If you want to email me, dfshelp1@gmail.com. We are giving the $200 yearly pass for $50 for the next 7 people that email us. So we will get in contact, and we will respond to you, and we'll try to get you guys that amazing deal. So on top of that, if you've never been here before, we have giveaways every single day. First way to win: like the video, be a subscriber, and leave a comment. If this video gets at least 50 likes and you've left a comment, you have a chance to win a free week of FTA Plus. If the video gets 100 likes, you have a chance at a free month. 150 likes, a chance at a free year. 200 or more likes, a chance at a lifetime pass. That includes every single sport. So the current sports, we have MLB, NFL, NASCAR, MMA, and PGA. So the second way to win, somewhere in the video there will be a keyword. Listen for it and type it in. If you are chosen, you will win a free week, and you could win both times. Now, yesterday's video only got 369 views, 24 comments, and 52 likes. So there's only 24 comments that it has to pick from. I don't know if the algorithm is, I don't know what's going on with the algorithm. Maybe we're falling out on the algorithm, or people are just not really into MLB right now, and they're into NFL. So that being said, you have a chance to win, a pretty good chance today, with the least amount of comments we've had in a while. So we're going to roll it. This is the first winner. It could be both. The same person could win both. Brian Tate, congratulations. Email me at dfshelp1@gmail.com, and we will get you set up for that free week. Now, I know you have an account on the site, so let me know your account on the website. On top of that, the keyword was sleep. So we're going to re-roll it, but with only 24 comments, you have a really good chance to win again. So we're going to re-roll it. The comment, if this is the one that has sleep in it, you will win a free week on top of it, or it could be a new person. There you go. Sergeant Saint, congratulations. Email me saying the subject line 915 keyword winner, and we will get your account a free week on top of that as well. So again, that's how easy it is. The more people that comment, the more people that like the video, the better chance new people will win. If it's the same people coming back, you guys have a chance to win as well. So this video and every video is sponsored by Outlier.bet, so check them out. The link is down below to sign up. 7-day free trial. Do their normal package for $20 a month. We're going to give you a free month of FTA Plus if you use our link. If you do their pro package, which is $130 a month, we're going to give you, and you go through the 7 days, and then you purchase that after the 7 days, we're going to give you 3 months free of FTA Plus, which is a $90 value on top of what you get with them already. So check them out. It breaks down the games. You can do the betting, the prop bets in those games, the stats, the splits, the BVP, the starting pitching. It's got everything for you right there on Outlier.bet. So definitely make sure you guys check them out. Get a free trial just with us. Just use a free trial. Check it out. It is free for 7 days. Website is right here. You can check out all of the content for NFL, the rankings. We have a matchup tool that I am finishing up, probably finished by the time you watch this video. So we're very excited what we have to bring to the table under the NFL content and everything else. So if you guys are interested, make sure you check that out. So we're going to cover the main slate, like we said. There's like a 2-game very early, then a 2-game afternoon, then the main. Then obviously the early Sunday game, and then the Sunday night baseball game. So the way Sundays work, they're kind of screwed up a little bit. So be cautious. Sunday's the day of rest for catchers. So some of these catchers that we talk about might not even start today. So it depends on when you watch this video. Make sure they're in the starting lineup. Okay? On top of that, at the end of the video, we're going to give you the top 5 pitchers today that have the best matchup possible for strikeouts. We call this segment Pitches Be Crazy. So these are the top 5 teams that are facing the teams that strike out the most. And then at the very end, we are going to give you all of the batters that have a 10 out of 10 matchup rating through our early simulations. And this morning, there are a ton. So definitely stick around for everything. And let's go. So we look at the pitching today. Not bad. We got Mackenzie Gore versus Miami, Rodon at Boston. We've got some good options here. Now, Boston strikes out the 3rd most out of any team. Rodon, I've got him number 1. Now, I know Garrett Cole, he just hasn't looked the same since coming back from injury. He's not the Cy Young candidate. He got shelled yesterday for 7 runs. Rodon, 4.09 ERA, so it's up there. He's had some decent starts here. Well, Kansas City's a really good hitting team. Texas is a decent hitting team. He's already faced Boston twice this year. 1-1 record, 11.1 innings, 7 earned runs, 14 strikeouts. So he's still averaging 17 fantasy points a game. Gave up 2 earned runs at Boston. They won 8-2. And then when he faced at Boston again, gave up 5 runs. So he's faced them both on the road. And when you look at it, his ERA on the road's way worse than it is at home. So I do like Carlos Rodon as one of my top pitching options today. Number 2 is Mackenzie Gore versus Miami. We look at his splits. He's already faced them twice this year. 13 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, 19 strikeouts. He's striking them out a ton. I like this matchup for him. He is my number 2 pitcher on the slate. That brings us to our number 3 pitcher on the day, Christopher Sanchez. So Sanchez going up against the Mets. Lefty on lefty matchup here, 3.33 ERA. He's already faced them once this year, 5.2 innings, 3 earned runs, 5 strikeouts. So the strikeouts were a little bit low, but I like this matchup. I would like it a little bit more if it were in New York, but I will take what we can get here. Because at home, he does have a 2.11 ERA compared to a 5.13 ERA. So he is worse on the road, but that ballpark is a pitcher's ballpark. So I do have Christopher Sanchez, number 3. Number 4 is Brady Singer at Pittsburgh. He has not faced him this year. When he's on the road, he does have a 4.05 ERA. But I do have him here. He's been a little bit on the struggle bus against the Yankees, which they're a great hitting team. Cleveland's a great hitting team. Houston's a great hitting team. Philly's a great hitting team. Like, his last 4 starts have been really great offenses. He does have a 9-10 record. He does have 153 strikeouts. So I think he'll go under-owned a little bit at 8,300. I don't mind him whatsoever. And then on the flip side of that, I like J.P. Sears at the White Sox. Splits-wise, he's already faced them once this year. 7 innings, 1 earned run, 5 strikeouts. He averaged 25.4 fantasy points in that game. I would like this game if it were in Oakland, because obviously Oakland is a better ballpark for pitchers. But I still like J.P. Sears here. And on the road, he has a better ERA, which makes no sense, but he does at a 3.55 ERA there. So those are my pitchers that I'm looking at. Catchers we are looking at. I really like Shea Langeliers today for number 1, going up against Sean Burke. Splits-wise, he's hasn't done a ton against this team, but I do like him in this ballpark here, so he is my number 1 catcher. Number 2 is Tyler Stevenson. We've got him in here. Did I miss him? Give me a second. What's going on? Oh, sorry. He's on the main slate on Fanduel. He is not on the main slate on DraftKings, because why would the slates be the same? It just makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. So scratch him. Number 2, I'm looking at Sal Perez going up against Jared Jones. Perez has been... He's been decent for us this year. He's averaging 10.5 fantasy points per game in 2 games versus Pittsburgh. Does have a home run in that game. So I do have Salvador Perez, number 2. Number 3 is Austin Wells. I believe Austin Wells will start in this game against Cutter Crawford. I really like that matchup for him. So, again, make sure he's in there. But as you can see, in 10 games versus Boston, 1 home run, 5 RBIs, averaging 6.3 fantasy points. Kind of been down a little bit here. But I am looking at hopefully this is a shootout here for them in this game. Number 4 I've got going right now is Keibert Ruiz versus Adam Oller in Washington. Coming off a great game with 2 hits last game. He's had positive fantasy points his last 3 games. I've got him right there. And my final one that I want to talk about today is JT Realmuto going up against lefty and David Peterson. So Realmuto obviously has seen the Mets a ton in his career, being with Miami, then with Philly. 6 games this year against this team. 5.3 fantasy points per game is what he's averaging. So those are my top 5 catching options for today on this main slate. First base options that we were looking for, I think it starts with Vladdy going up against Miles Mikolas here. 320 batting average on the year, 2 games against St. Louis this year so far, averaging 12 fantasy points per game, which he's had back-to-back really good games. I think that continues him at number 1. Number 2 is Bryce Harper for me. In a 288 batting average, 28 home runs, splits-wise, 7 games against the Mets. He's averaging 15.4 fantasy points and has 4 games. I don't care if it's a lefty-on-lefty matchup. He is in there at number 2 for me while he is the most expensive. Number 3 for me, I do have Pete Alonso going up against Christopher Sanchez. 8 games against the Phillies this year, 2 home runs, averaging 10 fantasy points a game. I do like him. Number 3 I'm looking at is Josh Naylor going up against Taj Bradley. So Josh Naylor has been very, he's got 29 home runs on the year, 6 games against Tampa Bay, only averaging 4.5 fantasy points. But I like this matchup for him. He had a great game on Saturday. I think he continues that as the number 4 first baseman for us today. And then number 5 I'm looking at, it really just depends on where we're at. But it's close between Yandy Diaz and JD Martinez. I think I want to go with JD Martinez. He does have that first base eligibility, also outfield eligibility. Game logs, he hasn't done much lately. Against Philly this year, he's averaging 8.6 fantasy points a game. Being first base and outfield eligible now, I do like that. Obviously, he was a DH. He didn't really have a spot outside of the outfield now. They've moved him to first base. So that does give us some flexibility while building our lineups through there. So that does open up some things for us. So now we move to the second base. I mean, you can just see the pricing's just up and down always. Number 1, I think it's going to be a bit of a surprise, but Andres Gimenez going up against Taj Bradley. I do like Andres Gimenez. 6 games against them, 5.2 fantasy points. I like this matchup against Taj Bradley. I think Cleveland shoves today. Number 2, depending on where we're at, Zach Gelof going up against Sean Burke. 3,300. He is a cheap option. Has 17 home runs, only averaging 217 batting average. But in 5 games against the White Sox this year, a home run and averaging 12.6. You're going to find value at 3,300. I do believe you will find value. You're able to go different directions. I honestly don't mind an Oakland stack today, to be completely honest with you. The third one I'll look at is Brandon Lau going up against Ben Lively. 6 games against Cleveland, averaging 6.5 fantasy points. I do like Brandon Lau there. Number 4 is Luis Garcia Jr. He is expensive. He's the most expensive, but I like his matchup here against Adam Oller. And then number 5, I am looking at, if he plays, Jose Iglesias being a cheaper option than others. Positive fantasy points every game since September 3rd. So he's had 2 weeks of positive fantasy point games that he's played. Make sure he's in this game. I don't know if he will be. If he is, this feels like one of those days he will be in there. Do not be surprised if he has a monster game there. So let's move to the third base option today. Number 1 is Jose Ramirez. He's hitting home runs. He's stealing bases. He's doing what he can to fill the box score. It's what he does. 35 home runs on the year, 270 batting average. Love the stolen bases. Obviously, he had 4 straight games with a stolen base. Positive fantasy points with double digits a lot since the entire month of September so far. So 2 weeks into September, he's had positive fantasy points. If he's not hitting a home run, he's usually stealing a base or 2. Those are positive fantasy points for us. Number 2 is, this could be sneaky, Mark Vientos going up against Sanchez. I do like Mark Vientos. Number 3, I've got Jake Berger. Jake Berger going up against Mackenzie Gore. Now, I love Mackenzie Gore. He's probably my favorite pitcher on the slate. But if he does get roughed up, it could be Jake Berger hitting that Berger bomb today. Number 4 is Jazz going up against Crawford. Now, Jazz has career highs in home runs and stolen bases. I read if he had started the season with the Yankees, he was on pace for 64 stolen bases. So if he doesn't hit a home run, he could get on base, he could steal those bases. That's kind of what I'm looking at. And then number 5, I will look at Rafi Devers a little bit. He was my best bet yesterday for over 1.5 bases, but he got intentionally walked once, he got a single, and he got hit by pitch twice. So he got on base, he just didn't get the bases. So he had a great matchup there. For whatever reason, Cole just was scared of him. Again, Garrett Cole did not look like himself this year so far. It's a good year just to recharge. Hopefully he finds himself down the stretch here. But I do have Devers at number 5. Moving to the shortstop position, I don't think it's a surprise today, but Bobby Witt Jr. going up against Jared Jones. Very, very expensive, but he is my number 1. Number 2, I do have Trey Turner going up against Peterson. I just love Turner against lefties. He's got a 294 batting average, 18 home runs, 2 games against him. He hasn't done anything against them yet, but I do like him number 2. We're kind of starting to wind down on baseball. It's getting to the point where the teams that are playoff bound already are going to start sitting their guys a little bit and resting them for the playoffs. Then the teams that are out of it are going to be playing guys that they just called up. So we go over all this information daily, and then the lineups come out, and it's completely new people that you may have never heard of. So be cautious playing MLB DFS basically until the playoffs starts. The next 2.5 weeks is kind of where we're looking at. So if you've never played MLB DFS in September, you'll kind of see a trend as we peak into October for the playoffs. So be very careful for that. Number 3 is depending, but I do like Trevor Story here against Carlos Rodon. Rodon has been giving up home runs this year. He has been home run prone, and Trevor Story can hit a home run in this game. He can take it opposite field. He can also pull the ball too. So be very cautious. But I do have him number 3. Number 4 is Mason Wynn versus Yariel Rodriguez. And number 5 is IKF going up against Brady Singer. Now, Brady Singer, he's struggled. He's got a high ERA this year, but he does have strikeouts too. So kind of pay attention when you're building throughout. And then we look at the outfield. Number 1, you see Judge and Soto and Schwarber up there. Number 1 I like is Brent Rooker today. Brent Rooker going up against Sean Burke. Number 2 is Aaron Judge going up against Cutter Crawford. Number 3, I do have Luis Robert Jr. going up against J.P. Sears in that lefty. Number 4, I do have Juan Soto going up against Crawford. 5, I really kind of like Dylan Cruz as long as Dylan Cruz leads off. He's been, they've moved him up and down, leading off to 6th and 7th. So I love Dylan Cruz if he gets to lead off. If he does not get to lead off, it scares me a little bit. Number 6 I would look at is O'Neal Cruz going up against Singer. Number 7, I would look at Jarren Duran going against Rodon, lefty on lefty matchup. That's kind of where I'm at. I do not mind Jarren Duran at number 7. And those are just some of the rankings that we have. If you want to see all of them, we have them on the cheat sheet. We have cash plays, tournament plays, usually about 6 to 7 players at each position for cash and 6 to 7 for tournament. So anywhere between 12 to 14 at each position. Then we have about 14 cash and 14 tournament outfielders. So we have 28 outfielders, give or take 28 to 30 outfielders that we have broken down, ranked in order. So there's a lot of things that we like. We will look for weather. We will look for simulations. We will see if anything has changed. So that may be why we change the cheat sheet a little bit once we narrow down how the weather's doing, the lineups that are confirmed to come out. That'll change some of these rankings a little bit. So these are early rankings. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button. We've got to get to it. I want to get to 100 likes. I think we can do it. Sundays are usually our best day. But yeah, so let's look at pitches be crazy right now. So these are the pitchers that have the best matchups against the teams that strike out the most. Number 1 is Andrew Heaney at Seattle. So Andrew Heaney at Seattle. Is that on the main slate? It is not. So this is basically you're playing a different slate, or you are playing sports bets. So these are great for sports bets if you look at the lines for their strikeouts. Number 2 is Kyle Hendricks at Colorado. I don't necessarily agree with this one because Colorado strikes out less at home than they do on the road, and Kyle Hendricks is bad, but according to statistics, he's got the second best matchup. Number 3 is Carlos Rodon at Boston. I like this matchup for him. If he's got it, we'll know in the first inning if Rodon has his stuff. If he is sweating through his jersey, but before the third out of the first inning that he pitches, his stuff is on. If it is off, it will be off, and this will not be a good spot for him. Number 4 is Sean Burke versus Oakland. Oakland does strike out 9.26 times per game, and on the road, 9.83. So they do strike out more on the road. And then number 5 is Brady Singer versus Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh strikes out 9.24 times per game, but when they're at home, it's 8.55. So it's a little bit less, but it is still over 8.5 strikeouts per game there. So again, Andrew Heaney's number 1, Kyle Hendricks 2, 3 Rodon, 4 Sean Burke, and number 5 is Brady Singer. Now, if we look at the ballpark factors, this is not going to be a surprise. Colorado's going to have home runs. We saw that in the first 2 games. They've got the best odds for home runs. And that is honestly the only game today that have a huge positive home run rate. And we will show this on the Discord. So the Discord link is down below. We'll show the ballpark factors. We'll show the projected home runs in the games for today. We'll also do core plays, pitcher core plays, batter core plays, and then the top stacks that we like. So make sure you check that out. And now, all of the batters that currently have a 10 out of 10 matchup rating right now. Number 1 is Ian Happ. Number 2 is Seiya Suzuki. 3 is Charlie Blackmon. 4 is Dansby Swanson. 5 is Michael Togliai. 6 is Kyle Tucker. 7, Michael Busch. 8, Jose Ramirez. 9, Yordan Alvarez. 10, Nico Horner. 11, Randall Grichuk. 12, Alex Bregman. 13, Mookie Betts. 14, Marcell Ozuna. 15, Kyle Schwarber. 16, Jorge Soler. 17, Bryce Harper. 18, Gunnar Henderson. 19, Josh Naylor. 20, Spencer Horwitz. 21, Juan Soto. And 22, Vladdy Guerrero Jr. versus Miles Michaelis. So we have 22 as of now that have a 10 out of 10 matchup rating. Make sure you check the website to see if it is confirmed after we do the initials. These are the initial simulations. We'll do simulations in about, depending, 3 hours from now, about an hour or 2 before first pitch for the main slate. So that is what we've got in this video. Hopefully you found it very informative. If you did, hit that like button. I will link our showdown videos for Sunday Night Football and Monday Night Football where we go through the statistics. We build the lineups for you. We go through and we talk about it. All those talking points are there. Videos are now live. They will be linked at the end of probably right here. I don't know, right here. So good luck on MLB today. Good luck on NFL. Good luck with NASCAR. Come back tomorrow and the next day and the next day. Let's have some fun. So good luck today. And as always, let's bring home some bacon. Peace.